Podcast hosting provided by Transistor. If you want to host your own show, head over to transistor.fm and start a 14-day free trial.
Hello and welcome to Regen, the e-racing podcast. Joining me this week, Chris Soulsby, as always. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, Dino. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, very well. I've been looking forward to this one for a while because it's been a bit of a mission. We've got 3 time zones this morning. We've also got John from the Outlap F1 Podcast. Good morning.
How's it going, guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Chris.
Good evening. Look at us, we're global.
We are indeed global. So 8 o'clock in the morning for me. How about you, Chris?
9 o'clock at night.
John?
3 p.m. on Sunday.
That's brilliant. Thank you guys for making this work.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a hiatus, but I've got a very interesting topic lined up today. So we're going to go through media of the week first, as always, and we're going to go with you, Chris, to start us off.
Okay, so my media of the week is Tinder. I'm joking. It's not. My media of the week is a program called Nightfall, and Nightfall is on Netflix, I believe. I watched it on Sky. And it is about the Knights Templar during the Crusades and after the Crusades and how they all die. Spoiler alert. And it's quite good. I would watch it if I were you. Would recommend.
Good to know.
That's it really, yeah. There you go.
And John, do you have one for us?
Yeah, so I'm going to have 2, actually. One comical, one serious. So my serious one is a podcast, which you guys may have heard as well, F1 Everything. Gotten to just slowly get to know this guy a little bit more and more over social media. And he comes out with an episode probably every month or so and really goes back and tells prominent stories throughout the history of Formula One, whether it be Crashgate or specific things like from Singapore or specific Michael Schumacher situations and incidents, and just really hones in on the history. And for someone who has only watched Formula One since 2007, obviously I've tried to do my homework from the past, but the way that he tells these stories, you can tell he puts so much time and passion into it, and the script is perfectly written. So I highly suggest you check that out if you're a motorsports fan. And then I've got a comical one as well. Chris, you might be familiar with this where you're at over there. But the podcast, My Dad Wrote a Porno. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but they just came out with season 5. And very, very brief thing. If you essentially a guy probably around our age finds out that his older father at some point wrote some erotic novels, and they're hilariously written, very poor grammar, and clearly not a good understanding of human anatomy, which then the son and his friends actually read these out loud on the podcast. And if you ever are in need of a hilarious moment, or if you're having a bad day and need a laugh, this is the podcast for you. So I highly recommend that one as well.
I have to listen to that because that sounds fantastic.
You especially will appreciate it. I think they're all based somewhere around London, and which, as Americans, I always love your guys' accents. It's just you seem so intelligent with your accents. I know that's the stereotypical American answer there, but it's hilarious, and it probably not for kids, and there are some graphical things, but it's comical in nature. It is not any kind of other ways. So highly recommend it. I think it's number 1 or 2 on probably most podcast charts at the moment. So check it out.
Actually, they are touring New Zealand. For you New Zealand listeners, they're touring in January 2020. So very timely.
And I can say I have seen them live in Chicago at the famous Chicago Theater, and it was well worth every penny. And they're actually coming back here in March, and I've already bought my tickets. So,
oh wow,
yeah, check it out. The live event is something else. Very interactive. You'll enjoy it.
I have to listen to this. I feel like I've been in the dark for so long. This is
Well, now that we've got Formula E on break, it's the perfect time to catch up on all the things that you've, been missing out on.
Absolutely.
This is it. This is...
It'll make your commute to work so much more entertaining.
Okay. My media of the week, and I'm not sure if you two are big gamers or mobile gamers, but there was this game I was following. It's called Void Tyrant, and it's on iOS and Android. And it's basically a game of blackjack where you try and get 12 instead of 21. There's power-ups, there's enemies, there's traps. It's very, very cool. So a lot of the power-ups are, double the number or +1 or +2, and you've got to get it as close to 12 as possible. And if you beat the other player, which is pretty easy at the start, but if you go over 12, then basically you lose automatically to the other player. So, yeah, it's got a cool graphic style, very cartoony, but at the same time, really, really cool. So I've been hard playing that at the moment, and it's definitely taking up a bit of time. But, that one is well worth a play.
I like the sound of that. It sounds quite fun.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's just so easy to get into, free to play, but you can buy a few different things in there, and there's different. It's sort of a little town that you can buy different shops and get different power ups as well. So yeah, fully recommend it. Fully recommend it.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Okay, let's get into the news and Extreme E. This one taking up a little bit of time in my timelines on Twitter and bits and pieces. Greenland has been announced as the first race in Extreme E. So obviously Greenland, some of the ice regions, the way I sort of remember it is from the Mighty Ducks, as in Greenland being ice and Iceland being green. I should have done that as the media of the week, because the Icelandic team is very, very good in that movie. So a little bit from the press release. We cannot solve these global climate problems by ourselves. I am therefore happy that Extreme E are here today to focus on the climate and fight the huge challenges that we face in the coming years. So, Greenland, are we excited about this, or are we still looking for a few different tracks and places for Extreme E?
I mean, I think it's a good starting point. It's it's a cool region. Yeah, it's a cool region, and you got to start somewhere. It's a brand new series. It's only going to be a handful of races. And does it start in 2021? I think so.
Yes, it does. Yeah. And Greenland, they have committed, or a very ambitious energy sector plan to, by 2030, be 100% renewable energy.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Good for
so
them.
It's all aligning, so good on them.
Yeah, I like that because it's a total overlap really with Extreme. Yeah, that's good. I don't think there could be a more deserving place for the first round after hearing that. So,
and John, have you heard much or looked into Extreme E and what it is?
Yeah, so I heard about it a while back, probably maybe through your podcast potentially. It was probably Formula E related when I first heard about it, and I've kind of looked into it. As someone who grew up in the southern parts of the United States, kind of the off-roading, outdoorsy atmosphere, it sounds pretty cool. The images that I've seen of like the prototype vehicles that they're going to be using look pretty badass, I have to say. And as much as I'm a petrol head, I truly do love electric vehicles and excited about the future they offer. So I think this was really going to show the world what electric vehicles are capable of. We've seen them on a racetrack. We've seen them out on the streets now we probably have never seen them in very rugged environment, taking potential jumps and taking a lot of pounding and punishment. So I think this is a perfect way to further push the electric market to the world. And obviously, in the grand scheme of things, as far as climate change and things of that nature, it's cool that it's just something else to help promote that for our planet. And while doing it in a fun and entertainment way, I'm just hoping that here in the United States we'll be able to get some coverage of it. I know that's sometimes a little bit difficult, but at least maybe some YouTube or something like that so that we can check it out in 2021.
Yeah, that would be brilliant if it was YouTube. We also suffer here in New Zealand a lot of the time as region blocks, but hopefully that one isn't the case.
Yeah, I hope so. It'd be nice if it was accessible to all. Yeah, hopefully we'll see it on YouTube or Netflix or something. I think it's got that director doing the broadcast, hasn't it, or the filming? Yeah, that director, him. Is it Fisher Stevens? It might not be. I might be talking like total crap.
Are you referring to the guy that did the Formula E Greenland, Iceland? I don't remember where it was at the time, where they tried to place a car onto a glacier. Is that the director that's involved in this?
I've got no idea.
I saw some clips of that. I think it was like an Amazon series that was focused on Formula E. And I saw some clips of that in one of the press releases for Extreme E. So I'm wondering if they're tied together, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I'll have to look into that. Maybe put it in the show notes or something.
That sounds good. That's what we'll do. Yep, that seems to be the easiest option. And also a couple of driver announcements. The big one, obviously, being Sebastian Ogier and Jamie Chadwick as well. What do you think of that?
I think that's great. I mean, Jamie Chadwick's had the season of her life so far. She's won the W Series. She's now a Williams development driver, and she's signed with Aston Martin Racing, I believe, to do some factory driving with them. And, next on the list is Extreme E, and I think that's great. And Seb Ogier is a very talented off-road racer, and I think he's the kind of, potential figurehead that Extreme E needs. Is he 3-4-time World Rally Champion now?
He's got so many championships, it's probably weighing him down by now.
Exactly. The guy is so qualified when it comes to driving off-road, and can't think of a better person or driver to get involved, in all honesty. So, yeah.
I think that's what they needed, is to have some name recognition with drivers just to help get the series off and running. And both of those, I didn't know a whole lot about Jamie Chadwick until the W Series, honestly. But what I was able to see on kind of repeat via YouTube, I was extremely impressed with the talent that she brings, and glad to see that things are progressing in her single-seater career, and hopefully good things is going on in the future. But this is exciting. I think it brings just a lot of recognition. It's certainly going to attract a lot of people because of the names that hopefully they'll able to continue to add some more. I don't remember what was the total amount of teams that have maybe not officially announced, but have, I guess, said that they plan on joining?
The only one that I know of is Apt.
Yeah, I think HWA might have committed as well.
That would be good.
But again, I don't know.
No, we'll look into that as well.
We will do some digging.
Yes, we will definitely do some digging.
Well, and the good news is we got some time as well. I mean, things are just starting to get rolling with Extreme E, and we have a few months before things probably start getting really, really serious. So I'm sure we'll have to do some additional episodes on those. I know I'd love to be back on and talk about that when it gets rolling.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Now, let's move into a few driver announcements and a bit of speculation. We're going to start with Maximilian Günther securing the BMW factory drive, moving from Dragon. And I, for one, very excited. You can probably hear it in my voice. Very, very excited at this one. Günther being one of the standout rookies of the year for Season 5. Yeah, can't wait. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I mean, what a guy. It's fantastic. Yeah, I can't. It's just nice, isn't it, to see Gunther hopefully in a competitive car, because that Dragon car was disgusting. And I mean, it had glimpses of pace, but he dragged that car above and beyond. Two 5th-place finishes in the season, 2 Super Bowl appearances, outclassed Lopez completely, put him in a shadow actually, and he missed 2 or 3 races. I think this could be the making of Maxi Gunther, and it's fantastic for BMW to have a German driver in that car as well. And I can't wait to see what he can do in his second season. It's going to be thrilling. It's great news.
It is, and it obviously fits well with the image, German driver, German factory team, and I'm sure that the country will be behind him.
It's going to be good. I can't wait to see him there. It's going to be really good.
Yeah, Chris, you stole my points right out from underneath me. I agree. I mean, Dragon, I think, are they the only, all-American, supposedly, a Formula E team? So it's a little disappointing what they've been able to bring to the table. But I'm a huge proponent of BMW in both racing and on the consumer side. And, I think this is a great opportunity for him to get into a car that's going to shine and show what he's really capable of. Hopefully, we consistently see him at the top of the grid in 2020.
It's going to be good to see him at the sharp end of the pack.
Absolutely.
In more races, and it'll be good. I just can't wait to see him wheel to wheel.
And now, Chris, I'll let you talk about the driver announcement from Mercedes EQ Formula E, and this is a little bit interesting.
Yes, so this week we had a team launch for Mercedes EQ Formula E team, if that's the proper name for it. And we have 2 drivers announced. Unsurprisingly, one is, drumroll please, Mr. Stoffel van Dorn, who drove for HWA last year. He got a podium in Rome, if I remember correctly. And his teammate will be a total rookie to the series. There was speculation about this. Some said Gary Paffett, others said Eduardo Mortara incorrectly. Perhaps even Esteban Gutierrez, but no, Nick De Vries will be in the second seat in that car. So, news. It's good, isn't it?
News is always good.
How do you guys feel like his chances are coming in there? I mean, there's obviously a transition period there into a Formula E car. The tracks are very different than what he's going to be familiar with. And obviously the car is he's got a little seat time there, but as far as energy consumption and things of that nature, it's a lot of very different factors than probably what he's used to in his career.
I think it'll probably be a tough start, to be honest. We saw, well, it might have been HWA, but we saw Stoffel and Gary last season struggle a fair bit, and I think, Nick will be given time. I think it'll be a long-term project for those 2 drivers. Chris, you think so too? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, Nick De Vries is a very talented guy. I think, realistically, Formula One might be out of reach, unfortunately, but I don't see why he couldn't go in the future. We saw Gunther go straight into Formula E from Formula 2, of course, which is what De Vries will be doing this November. And I think he'll be fine, actually, because he was the reserve driver for Audi Sport Ab Schaeffler for the past couple of seasons. And he was a test driver for Spark Racing Technologies, I want to say. So he does have a bit of experience in a race. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. And I think, regardless, it'll be a long-term project for him and Mercedes. And we'll see what he can do, but I think he'll be fine. It's always different. I mean, a Formula E car is a very different word. Formula 1 car, Formula 2 car. Like you said, it's the energy consumption. It's an entirely different ball game, and the circuits are notoriously difficult. But he's got the talent to, do well. So I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, he's also coming in as one of the youngest guys on the grid too. I think he's only like 24 years old. So I hope this is. I haven't seen the details of the contract, but I hope it is a multi-year deal. I think Mercedes is smart to bring him in. We saw little glimpses of Stoffel last year, but it seemed like I don't know. Every time I turned on a race, it seemed like something was failing on that car. He just seemed to have bad luck after bad luck last year. So, I'm hoping, obviously, with this being an AMG-backed project, that they'll have the funding and the resources to make sure that reliability is not an issue and that we can truly see what he's capable of. And then, with Nick, like you said, he definitely has the talent there. Things have not worked out. Right place, right time as far as his Formula One career goes. We'll see kind of how that plays out. But the guy is very, very talented. He does have, I think, like you said, a little bit of seat time in these type vehicles, not in race conditions. But, hopefully it is a multi-year deal, and he can focus this year on finishing races and learning, and then, come 2021, because I'm sure Mercedes is going to have some kinks to work out themselves as well. But hopefully 2021 we're able to see kind of both of the team and the driver both meeting at that sweet spot for that season.
Yeah, I think we will. I think that'll be, this will be the year for them to bet in, and 2021 will be the year that Mercedes will, I hate to say it, but with a name like that, they'll be somewhere up the top.
Yeah, I mean, they will have done relentless work at Brixworth on this power train unit. And of course, they had last season as well with HWA, which was kind of like a test team, really, like the advanced party for Mercedes. And the Mercedes team will be operated by the HWA squad, and they've now got a full season of experience. But I think what's interesting is with the two new teams coming, Mercedes and Porsche, is the entirely different way that both teams are going into the series. So with Mercedes, they've had that trial season with HWA. But for Porsche, this is an entirely new thing. But they've done, I know they've covered a lot of miles in testing. It's going to be really interesting, I think. It's going to be a very interesting first season for Mercedes.
Do you guys have any fears that perhaps Mercedes, I know that they're very, very well funded and doing quite well financially, at least on the racing side of things, things are going quite well. But do you fear that they're potentially stretching themselves too thin? Trying. I know they pulled out of some other stuff to put more emphasis on Formula E, but Formula One and Formula E, you've got a lot of money, a lot of development. And I know they've got, again, the money to pay and to bring on as many people as they want, but I would think that that's got to be in someone's mind that, hey, let's make sure we have all the checks and balances in place to make sure that we aren't spreading ourselves too thin and end up hurting both series.
I'll let you start on this one, Chris.
Thank you. I don't know. I think it's Mercedes, isn't it? I think they'd be fine. Because alongside Formula One, they were doing DTM, and now they've pulled out of DTM, like you've said, and now they're switching it to Formula E. And Formula E is a fairly affordable series to run. I couldn't afford to run a team, but I say that, but Formula E is a very affordable series. It's designed to be to level performance and be cost efficient, cost effective. So the likes of your smaller teams such as Venturi or Dragon or Neo are able to compete against the big established manufacturers like Audi.
Oh, BMW,
yeah.
The German guys.
The German guys. So. No, I think they'll be fine. I
hope so. Yeah, I'm definitely no secret that I'm a Mercedes guy, so I sure hope to see them at the top of the grid in both series. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think, again, Chris's point's pretty valid. I think Porsche will struggle a lot more not having the actual season as a test bed. But just, John, while we're on this, wanted to know what your thoughts of Mercedes picking up 2 ex-McLaren drivers for their Formula E team.
I'll be honest, I don't know what to think about that, because obviously there is a history there between Mercedes and McLaren, one that certainly had some successes. So it seems like Stoffel has always sort of had that close knit connection with Mercedes somehow, some way. It seems like they've gone out of their way to help take care of him, and I don't think it was, at least in my mind, I thought he would be a sure bet for one of those two seats. Maybe one day we see a Lando or something like that in Formula E, and they just snatch him up too.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, I would take that in a heartbeat. Like I said, I think Mercedes knows talent, and they've had a plethora of talent in their pool. And I think that they, as has McLaren. So I think it's a smart move. I wonder, and I want to get your guys' opinion. Does this hurt McLaren? Or do you think there's any ill will that Mercedes is just kind of picking people out as they go? Or do you think that's just they're the big boys, they can afford to pay anything they want, and they could probably get any driver they want? I don't know. What do you guys think? I love the choice, the selection, though.
Well, I think Mercedes and McLaren had the engine partnership a while back, and they were probably pretty close knit. But I'm not sure if Zach Brown and Toto have lunch together. But yeah, I think it's probably okay. And if McLaren maybe says, "Oh, Stoffel Van Dorn, man, he's just absolutely crushed in Formula E. We need him back. Lando moves on, and we could see him go the other way. So, yeah, you never know.
Well, and that's the thing with Stoffel, especially. I don't think he really got a fair shake in Formula One. I think he was overshadowed, obviously, by Fernando, whether that be a good thing or bad thing. Fernando brings a lot of attention, not always positive, but brings a lot of attention. All eyes are naturally going to be on the champion. And so I think he was overshadowed there. And then just the whole, turmoil relationship between McLaren and Honda, I think that he just kind of got lost in the shadows, and maybe a lot of that was just a victim of not if he was, I would love to see what he would be capable of in the McLaren car that we're seeing this year in Formula One, to see how his talent competes with that of, like a Lando, like we said. I feel like he is capable of more than what we are able to see, and that he was more of a victim of circumstances through maybe no control of his own. So I think this gives him, he's going to have, like I said, it's going to take maybe a year or so, but he's going to have the equipment now, probably have maybe the best equipment on the grid. And I think I think he's got to know this is his opportunity, and he's got to make the absolute most of it. If he struggles, then, we've got a whole different story in this car. But I'm excited to see what he's capable. I think the kid is talented. I like him as a person, and I want to see him do well, and I think he will, given the equipment that he's going to have underneath him.
Excellent. All right, we're just going to move on because the time is ticking on. Okay, Nico Muller didn't get the Audi drive. Daniel Abt secured it, and there's been some speculation he might be joining the Kiwi, Brendan Hartley, at Dragon. Chris, just quickly, is this a yes or a no from you?
I mean, I love Nico Muller. Everybody knows that. I think he's a very talented guy. I'd like to see him in Formula E. I'm just reserved about the team, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I've actually talked about my or our thoughts on Brendan Hartley at Dragon, but yep. Yes or no, do you think it'll happen?
No.
Good. Well, I'll edit this podcast quickly and make sure it's out before. Okay, now the main topic. And this one of the reasons why we've got John on from Outlap F1 Podcast. What drivers would make the grade in, or back in, for some drivers, Formula One? And if we've got time, we can also talk about what drivers should move from Formula One to Formula E. #RoGro. Okay. I'm just going to say some names, and we're going to go pretty much from what I consider the bottom of the grid up into the top. But I'm going to start with an interesting name, Oliver Turvey.
Yes.
Yes. Ooh.
Yes.
Why does he deserve to be in Formula One?
Because Oliver Turvey is a flaming legend. The guy is so underrated. He's been a McLaren affiliated for years. He won the BRDC, British Young Driver thing in this country, and tested a McLaren, and since then he's been on their roster. He did test work last year. I believe he's done test work this year. And he knows that McLaren team very, very well. Unfortunately, he's probably a bit old now, and it's down to finances as well, really. Turvey doesn't have much backing. But he's such a talented guy, and I would love to see him in Formula One, but it won't happen, sadly.
Yeah, I think age is probably the damning factor for him. I think he's 32 years old now. I know I hate talking about people that are younger than me that are past the prime of racing. That makes me feel really old. But I think certainly talented, but maybe could have been. Certainly, if the stars aligned, I'll say no because of age. But again, I think age. I want to take that factor out of there on a lot of these guys because it is an older grid. So talent-wise, I'll say, yeah, I think he could have been.
Okay. His teammate, Tom Dillman?
No.
Yeah, I'm going with a no on that one as well.
Sadly.
Okay. Jose Maria Lopez?
No. He almost did, though. He almost did with USF1.
Yeah, he did.
But no.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a no on that. 36 years old. I think he was last in, was it GP2? Was that his last, traditional single-seater? And that was back in, 2006 or something like that? So, I don't know. I'm going to say no on that one as well.
Felipe Neza. Should he be allowed back in?
No.
I'm going to say yes. Just...
Ooh.
Couple of years, what was Sauber? He's still young, 27. Again, it's, it wasn't the alpha back Sauber at the time. We're talking low budget stuff. I would say no in the current format, but yes, if, another team, which there has been rumors of another team potentially joining the grid in 2021. I don't know how viable that really is, but it would be nice to see. I think that would be an opportunity for him. Definitely not probably the top tier, but I could see a low budget team looking for a guy that has experience. I'll say yes.
Yeah, I think in that case, you probably, we'll get to him. A sort of guy that we know in the news wants back in, Pascal Wehrlein. Would you rather take him instead of Neza?
Yeah, I think I would actually. If given the option, again, we'll get to him in a second, but you bring up a good point on that. Similar age too, I think.
Yeah, true. Felix Rosenqvist. Now, this is a personal favorite of mine, and he just recently got a podium in IndyCar. So, yeah, I think if he wasn't snatched up by the Indy guys, then yeah, potentially could have.
Chris, what do you think on this one?
No, I don't know. I think very talented guy. He's a European Formula 3 champion. Did a great job in Formula E for the 2 seasons with Mahindra. And he's doing all right in IndyCar, isn't he? But no, I don't think he'd get a Formula 1 drive, sadly. I think, no. That's all I can say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad to see him stateside. So maybe for selfish reasons, no. But I think European, obviously Formula 3, like you said, but that was a few years ago. It seemed like he kind of hit that ceiling in the traditional single seater, and just for whatever reason, the stars just didn't align on that. So I will say no on that one.
Okay, dare we say it, Nelson Piquet Jr.?
Oh.
I'm going to go with a no on that one, please.
You know my answer. I don't even have to say anything.
Mr. Crashgate of Singapore. Yeah, we are going to Singapore in a week or time in Formula One, so it is good timing.
Yeah. That'd be funny if he was announced in Singapore.
No comment. No comment.
Maybe Nelson Piquet Senior. Yes, I'll take back, but Junior now.
Oh well, we should get Carlos Sainz Senior.
Oh, cool. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Now, these names. I mean, Gary Paffett. Yeah. I mean, his age is not on the right side, but I think a couple of years ago, yeah, potentially should have.
I think he tested for a team in 2005. Was it McLaren?
It was. He was actually slated to potentially get that drive, and then got lost out to someone that probably worked out pretty well.
Is it Pedro de la Rosa?
Some guy named Lewis Hamilton apparently actually got that seat. I don't know if you guys ever I'm not familiar with that name, but I don't know if you guys have heard of that guy or not. But
might have once or twice.
Yeah, so I think he's I don't know, European or something. I don't know. Anyways, 38 years old. That obviously hurts him, but yeah, I think I'll put him as a yes. I think he has the talent there, and there probably was some other factors that led to Lewis getting into that vehicle instead of him. Obviously, it worked out well for a couple of different teams now, but I think talent-wise, yeah.
Yeah, I think the guy's got talent. There's no question about that. So maybe once upon a time in an alternative reality.
Yeah. Alex Lynn. Now, I wanna just chime in with a yes here. I think very talented. Didn't really have a chance at Virgin to show what he had, and just getting pole in his first race in New York. That basically says that he's got talent and young, ambitious, and I think Jaguar's got a good one there.
I think Alex Lynn's a fantastic racing driver. He deserved the seat at Virgin, and they dropped him, and it didn't help him in Formula E. Unfortunately, he got back with Jaguar, but he tested for Williams. He was a test driver for Williams in F1 up until 2015, 2016, I believe. Unbelievably talented guy, and I think it's a shame we didn't see him in Formula One. Sadly, I was confident that he was going to get a drive in Formula One once upon a time, but yeah, it's a yes from me.
I'll say yes as well. I think it was 2014 GP3 champion. Obviously, had a stint in GP2. He's proven himself, I think, in multiple series through that, and WEC. Obviously, things are moving in the right direction in Formula E. I think that. And his age is still, he's only 25 years old too. So he's got that going for him as well as, so I think we got to throw him in the yes category.
Cool. One of my personal favorites, Maxi Gunter, bias aside, which is very hard. I think young, talented. We've already seen what he can do. I think we probably need to see another season just to, confirm that he is at the sort of level of these younger drivers like your George Russells, etc. In Formula One.
I agree. I think with Max Gunther, he is still incredibly young. I think he's the same age as me. So, I mean, the world is his oyster, essentially. He can do anything that he wants. And that's the beautiful thing with Gunther. So I think it's impossible to say no on that one at the moment.
Well, thanks, Chris. I feel really old knowing that you're only 22 years old or something like that. But yeah, I think it's not been that long ago that he was in Formula 2, and I think he may be the youngest guy on the Formula E grid at the moment. I'll throw it to the yes. I do think that the change in seat, I think that potentially if he excels at that, I think that would certainly promote his opportunities to make the switch up or into Formula One.
Yeah, we've already talked about Stoffel Van Dorn, and potentially. We're going to move to Felipe Massa. Obviously, had a good career in Formula One with the red cars and Williams as well. But is it sort of is it too far for him to go back if Williams said, "Oh, mate, do you mind helping us out again?"
I think he would say no.
I think he would too.
Say no.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you on this one. So, if you're Claire Williams right now, and you've got, let's say money isn't a factor, which we know it is over there, but let's say it's not, and you need a veteran driver, to sit there with George and mentor him. Do you call Felipe or do you call Alonso?
Oh, Alonso's not really going to say yes, let's be honest.
Well, let's just assume both are eager to get back into Formula One and would take ever. Based purely on talent alone and needing a vet, do you take, which one would you take?
Gary Paffett.
Actually, that's not he hasn't driven in Formula One, but I mean, why not?
That's actually not a bad idea. I hadn't thought about that.
But that's sort of skipping the question. I would probably go with Felipe, baby.
Yeah, me too.
Nice. Okay.
Cool. Eduardo Mortara?
No.
I'm going to go with a no on that one as well. There's talent there, but I don't think things would align that well.
Mm-hmm. Would miss him in GTs. He's too good a GT driver to race in Formula One, sadly. Where would we be? We'd be lost.
So he's not allowed.
He's not allowed.
Okay.
He's too good.
Right. Alexander Sims. Oh.
No.
I love Alexander, but it's sort of not quite.
Yeah, not quite, sadly.
I think he's in the right place.
Yeah, I agree with that. Formula 3 in 2016, I don't even think that was a full season. I don't remember what exactly the situation was there. But I think, he's 31. I think that's enough on my end.
Okay, there's going to be some very quick yeses coming up right now. But first, Pascal Wehrlein.
No.
I think Gene Haas is an idiot for not putting him in the car. I think that's a great idea. Chris disagrees.
I would. I mean, Chris, Romain Grosjean or Pascal Wehrlein in the car? Which one?
Oh, God. Gary Paffett.
Oh.
I don't know.
Chris, you took way too long to think about that one.
It's like, it's such a hard call. Grosjean.
What?
Wow. I did not expect that. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you listen to the Outlap F1 podcast, you don't even need my answer. So,
or mine either. No secret. As having the American team, and I'm ready for a driver change. I would take Pascal in a heartbeat in that car. I think he showed some things in his short stint in Formula One. I think he got messed over by that Race of Champions injury. I think that was kind of the start of the undoing of the Formula One piece of his career so far. But 24 years old, didn't he almost have that win in Mexico when got the chicane and ran out of juice? But I think he's got talent there, and I would love to have him back in Formula One.
Yeah, good memory. He's so feisty. I mean, that's what you need, especially with Haas. They're a team that, unfortunately, sort of trailing at the back, can't understand the car. But if you had someone feisty in there, like Magnussen, I think it could be only good.
Yeah, I agree. I think they need someone that can get their elbows out. I feel like Grosjean is a little too quick to give up and want to retire the car, and can't seem to get, he's always complaining about brakes and things of that nature. It just seems like he can't get out of his own head. And I think having a young kid in there that wants to prove something, and wants to prove that, he should have kept a seat in Formula One in the first stint, I think would have been a great addition to the grid. But as I've told you guys before on the Outlap podcast, Gene Haas knows how to disappoint me, and he did not. He repeated that again this time, so no surprise there, I guess, on my part.
Okay. Jerome D'Ambrosio.
No. Sadly, I like Jerome. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he's great. I had a nice conversation with him about the weather once. Small talk.
Oh.
But yeah, no. Sadly. Good guy.
Okay.
Very talented. But a bit old, I think.
Yeah, I think age would be the only. I feel like talent he could. I mean, he had that stint with Virgin and Lotus. I think not the two teams that you necessarily want to be in to prove your talent, especially during those times. So I think talent wise he could be, but yeah, 33 years old, probably not going to happen at this state. But yeah.
Now I think Williams has missed a trick here because Oliver Rowland, I'm going with a big yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very easily.
Yeah, unanimous on that one.
That was quick. Okay, Sam Bird. I love me some Sam Bird. And I think, he's got the goods. A relatively safe pair of hands. But, yeah, I think he would be one of the names I would, put my hand up straight away for.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm
disagree.
I'm with Chris on this one. 32, been a long time since GP2 days. I'm with you on that one, Chris. I'm going to go no.
Yeah, he's a quick driver. He's a bit old, though, and I don't think he's won a championship at all, has he?
Nothing comes to mind right off the top of my head. I don't think so.
Controversial.
Sorry, Dino. We're going to disagree with you on that one. Gotta have a few of those, right?
Absolutely. That's what makes the listeners, hungry for more.
Absolutely.
More disagreement. Andre Lotterer.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, the age okay?
I mean, he's a bit old, but
I'm gonna go. Yeah, he is old. But I'm gonna go yes. Lotterer is one of my favorite drivers in the entire world across any series. I don't know what about I spent a whole lot of time watching him in his Audi days in World Endurance Championship, and I know he had top equipment there, and I loved just his driving style and just his poise in the car. That maybe not always transition into the Formula E grid, but and he is old, so I don't think it's going to happen. At 37, it's probably never going to happen. But talent-wise, man, I love that guy. I love what he brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it was Toby Bloom who said that he would win the championship without winning a race. And that's the sort of consistency we saw from him. But, when he wasn't taken out, we'll put it that way.
Yeah. That's the thing with Lotterer. He's so quick, and he's won virtually everything on four wheels. And I would have loved to see him in Formula One. The way he drives, he's so aggressive, and his defensive maneuvers are flaming brilliant. So I would just love to see him in a Grand Prix car.
And he's another one of those, you got to put it as, would you put him back into Formula One? Because he technically did have one start with Caterham in 2014. So,
again,
it won't happen because of age, but I agree. His consistency, I think that's what it was. Just, you watch the lap times, you watch the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and just lap time after lap time, hour after hour after hour, it's just bam, right on the spot. And, it doesn't matter the track. It's like he's just the consistency there is incredible. And to do it with fatigue and everything else and changing environments, I think he, if the stars align, I think he could have had an incredible career in Formula One. We could be talking about a world champion at this time, but it's always about right place, right time. I think with so many of these guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's a good point. Daniel Abt.
No.
I can't see it really.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. Been a while. 2013, I think, was he was in GP3. He's only 26, but still, I would say with no on that one.
Antonio Felix da Costa. I'm pretty sure we all like Antonio here, but I think it might be a bit too far.
I blame Daniel Kvyat because he almost had that drive in 2014, didn't he?
That's right, he did, yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. In 2014, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but I guess in the world of racing, that might as well be an eternity when you're talking about experience-wise. So he's young still. He's not even 30, but yeah, I agree now.
See, I was adamant. If you stalk me through Twitter, I believe I said that Antonio Felix da Costa would get a Toro Rosso seat amidst the Red Bull driver program crisis of the past couple of years. Purely because he's just ex-Red Bull, very talented guy, but I can't see it at the moment.
And it seems too like Red Bull. I feel like sometimes they may hold a grudge a little bit when it comes to guys that were in their program.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he would definitely be a natural person for them to call. And I do agree they do have a little bit of a situation on their hands, especially with the unknowns of Gasly and, they not selecting Kvyat to come up. You got to think he's a little disgruntled at the moment, given the season that he's having and kind of that resurgence. So that's a good point, Chris.
Okay, one of my personal favourites, not because he's a Kiwi, just because he's awesome. Okay, Mitch Evans, and that's a massive yes from me. I think Mitch, unbelievably quick, race winner, and basically the talisman of Jaguar. Yep, yeah. I would. I think someone like a Williams. Someone like Haas. I think they would be doing very well to get Mitch Evans in their car.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely love Mitch Evans. I think he's incredibly talented, incredibly fast. And he's the only GP3 champion who hasn't tested a Formula One car. He's never driven a Formula One car, Mitch Evans.
What?
Yeah,
really?
Genuinely. Yeah. I think it was October last year. I had an interview with Mitch Evans, and he told me that, and I couldn't believe it. Because he's so quick and he's so talented and he deserves a chance. And it's never happened.
Wow, that is shocking.
That's pretty sad.
It's really sad, isn't it? It's mad.
Oh well, Gene, there you go.
Gene won't do it though because it's Gene. So that would be too logical. These guys that we've mentioned so far, Pascal and obviously Mitch, both would be too logical of decisions for the American team, unfortunately. And as an American, I feel like I can say that. I can give them hate.
Robin Freins, the Dutchman.
No.
I'm going to go with no on this as well. It's been age-wise not bad. He's only 28, and I think didn't he have a test stint as well with some, I don't remember the team.
I think Sauber, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Was it Virgin?
I think it was Sauber.
It'd be funny if it was Virgin. Okay.
I've been. So, I think there was the possibility there, but he's another one that, I think just things didn't work out and not right place at the right time and just kind of got overlooked. I think he may be more of a long shot to get that call, I think, at this point.
Yeah, okay. Lucas de Grassi.
That's
was tough for me. Oh. He had a very short stint in Formula One in 2010 with Virgin. 35 though, so again, age is going to be a real kicker for him. I kind of lean towards no on this one, but I don't really know why exactly. Just gut feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. It's a grey area, isn't it? It's hard to call because Degrassi's a very talented driver. He's very happy where he is. And I think if he'd stayed in Formula One, he could have potentially done very well for himself. But now, no, sadly. I don't want to say that, but I've said it.
Okay. Sebastian Buemi, and that's a yes from me. I think he should have had a lot longer in Toro Rosso.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think he's still running technically as a reserve driver for the Red Bull team, so yeah. I think he's got to be a natural phone call away.
Could we see it? I mean, if Gasly goes, could he make a return?
I would love to see that.
I think the only thing that would hold him back is the age at 30. Red Bull seems to be going incredibly young with all of their drivers. I don't remember how old Fiat is, but I think he's be the oldest of the group right now. I think Blemmy would definitely be older than him. It's going off the top of my head. So talent-wise, yes, and I think they obviously are keeping him kind of close for a reason. But I feel like it would require some other factors to be involved for it to happen. I think just because of this push. I think for Red Bull, it's like for them, it's got to be. Do you see this guy potentially being a teammate to Verstappen? And I don't know which way we lean on that, but if it's a no for whatever reason, age or whatever the fact may be, then I think it's not worth that phone call because I think that's why they're going young, is to hopefully in their minds have a number one driver and a 1.5, maybe somewhere slightly behind Verstappen, that can lead the team back to the championship ways. And I think age is an issue there with Sebastian.
Okay, what about the other ex-Red Bull driver and current Formula E champion, Jean-Eric Vergne?
110% should be in a Formula One car in my eyes. I'm still sad that he didn't get the Red Bull call-up for 2015.
Yeah, me too.
I think Jean-Eric Vergne could have been a Formula One champion very easily. I've got nothing but praise for Jean-Eric Vergne. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah. John?
Yeah, I've got to go with a yes on that one. Extremely talented. And then I agree. I think a lot of people thought that he was going to get that phone call in 2015 when everything shook out with the driver lineup. I don't know if there were other political factors involved that we weren't privy to at the time or whatever happened there. But even if it wasn't with Red Bull, I think a team, again, Haas or Williams or someone like that, if it was Vergne or Robert Kubica, I would take Vergne. So I think that there's a couple teams out there that maybe need to look internally and bring down the walls of stubbornness that they put up for some of these drivers that, it's unusual for a driver to come back, and I don't know why that is. It probably should change.
Yeah, that's a good point. It is hard for drivers to come back. Well, John, is there anything else you want to add before we close?
No, again, it was just I really appreciate you guys having me on. I've becoming more and more invested in Formula E in the last couple of years, starting to thankfully get a lot more TV notoriety here in the States, and I love the Gen 2 car. I think that was really a game changer in the series and brings a lot of excitement. And I am really looking forward to kind of where the series is going to be going and the growth and some new tracks and new venues. And I'm looking forward to the day where for this topic of episode where we have the day that Formula E is grabbing Formula One drivers and vice versa, and that both of the series are at that world prominent stage that they kids are growing up, and instead of going, I want to be an IndyCar driver, it's said I want to be a Formula E driver or something like that. I don't think that's that far away. We're only heading into 6 seasons now, but I think you've got a young generation of kids that like technology, and I think that is a big driver of Formula E, and social media and technology is 2 things that they definitely have on their side. So I think it's only a matter of time before that change happens and before you start getting kids interested in that type of racing. So really excited to see it grow, and looking forward to this upcoming season.
Brilliant. No, it's it's an exciting format, and we hope that it'll just keep pulling people in. Also, we can't let you go without the social media. Where can we find you? Where can we follow all of the rants about Rogro? Where can we do that?
The best place is Twitter. We're starting to dabble into Instagram a little bit, primarily just as a preparation for our trip to the Circuit of the Americas next month. Probably have a lot of pictures and videos on there, but primarily we are on Twitter, Outlap F1 Podcast on Twitter. We're on there pretty much daily. We also have a website that we really are proud of. That's outlapf1.com. So got a lot of news on there. We're continuing to build out. All of our episodes are on there. And you can find us pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. You can find the Outlap F1. Obviously, with Dino, we've had you on as before. And Chris, I think we need to work something out to get you on the show or get both of you guys on the show. So looking forward to hopefully something like that in the future. But we're a young podcast, but we're having a really great time getting rolling. And it's nice to find a co-host in Chicago that knows Formula One is probably a rarity. So really excited for what the future holds for the podcast.
Mm-hmm. It'd be great to go on. I think it'd be good fun. So
we'll work that out for sure.
No, that's. I'm looking forward to hearing that episode. And Chris, what are you scribbling at the moment? You doing any journalism, or what are you up to?
So obviously I'm in standby now because
yeah,
preseason testing hasn't started yet, and if there isn't a press release, I'm very bored. But I'm still working for Motorsport Week and Motorsport Monday at the moment. Those of you who follow my writing closely, I don't know many people do. Be nice to know. But you will see that I'm writing less, and I've just started a full-time job doing words for a couple of companies. So yeah, that's me at the moment. Can't wait to get podcasting again. Can't wait for pre-season testing. It'd be good.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to getting into the new season. I mean, we've got a few things to keep you occupied, like Moto E, which has just had another race. Mm-hmm. We're still looking at bringing you the iPace E Trophy, the final weekend. Yes. Yep. So that one will be coming soon as well. And we have some news with the announcement of attack mode for the iPace E Trophy. So, yes, that will be a cool episode, and we'll try and get that out soon. But thank you very much, John. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've thoroughly enjoyed having you on.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure speaking with both of you guys, and look forward to hopefully doing it again in the future.
Chris, thank you very much, as always, for coming on. It's always a pleasure, and looking forward to the iPace E Trophy episode with you soon.
Mm-hmm. It's always great to be on.
We'll talk to you later, everyone. See ya. Bye.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
I can't believe about that Tinder comment as well. Oh, man.
I just thought it'd be funny.
You did throw me off with that one. I was like, wait a minute, does Tinder mean something else over there that I'm not aware of?